Okay, I think we're good. We're live. Welcome. How you doing, guys? Thank you for joining me. We are going to continue working on the used cars website. From last week, I don't think I have done. Yeah, I haven't even touched this. What I want to do today is I'm not gonna work too much on the search part because that is just about tweaking. What I want to do is work on something that I have been neglecting up to this point, and it's the car details page, where you can actually see the big picture of the car and all of the pictures of the car and all of the details of such car. So right now we have a list, but we don't have a way to click on one of those cards and get a detailed perspective of the car. So that's what I'm going to do today. I don't know how though. I don't even have an idea of the page. Well, that's a lie. I do have an idea of what I want it to look like. It's going to be really, really simple, to be honest. It's going to be something like, where's the example? So this is the website that I'm kind of imitating. And all they have is just one big picture and small pictures of all of the small thumbnails of all of the other pictures. I hate it that it's on hover, that the picture changes, so I'm probably going to do it on click. Then they have the information of the seller, and then they have these tabs on the bottom where there is information about the car, kind of motor, kind of fuel, transmission, what's the mileage, etc., etc. So I don't think I'm going to implement all of this, but at least I want to have the skeleton of the tabs and being able to click on different tabs and etc. Because after that it's just content. So the hard part is to get the look and feel first. And the other thing is that we should start thinking about associating cars to the users who post them, so the seller, because right now you just create cars and they belong to no one. So that's a good detail that I have to think about today. Maybe we'll have time to get to that. Shouldn't be too difficult. But yeah, I want to get to this first. So let's see, where do we start? I believe the first place that we want to go is to this card, because I want to be able to click on these guys. The whole card should be clickable. So let's get in here, and we have the carousel card, which is the component. If you remember, we have the car list, and in the car list view, we are using this X card, and then down here we have a for each, and we are rendering this X carousel card component that we created. So in here is where I have to make the change. So this will be in here, and I think best way to achieve this is to just add a link here and just wrap the whole card into a link. So let's say href. This is going to be a route. I don't have the route created yet, but I will in just a second. The route name, let's call it cars show. I do want to pass a reference to the car. So the record that we are looking at. So let's say car. That'll be the parameter. And we just have to pass. Is this going to be, so if this was a, if I was passing this into a library component, I would have to use the key. But since this is going to be used in a route, then I can probably get away with just passing the record like this. So just the car. We already have a reference to the car in this component that is passing as a property. So we can use that for the route. Now let's just grab this whole thing and put it here. I lost it, didn't I? Hold on. View 19 up. 19 up. One less. Delete. Paste. Get this line off there. View 19 down. Indent. All right. It helps when I vocalize what I'm trying to do, at least while I'm learning. So you're going to hear me doing that for a while. That should be good. So if I save now, we're going to have an error because the route doesn't exist. And there you go. Now let's go create that route. Close this and this. Let's see. Can just pass the parameter right away. So car. This is going to reference a component that I don't have just yet. So I should create that first. Let's see. Because if I do the route first, I will have to comment it out because I can't run a PHP artisan command with an invalid route. Artisan make livewire card details. There you go. Cool. And the route name, of course, is cars.show. The error should have gone away. And now we can click on these cards. And that should take me to an empty page. So this is where we start designing things. Let's see. How do we do this? I probably want everything inside a card. So I can use the X card component from the, what was it that we use? Wire UI, was it? Yeah. So let's start with that. Let's close this too, open. Let's open the component first, because I do have to create a link for the car. So car details. Here we go. I'm going to need a public car variable. This is coming in from the route. That should be enough for now. Now let's open the view. Be like water. Okay, let's start with the card. So X card, no title, no nothing. So just a card. All right. Let's make it, give it a bit of top margin though. Wait, let me mimic what I'm going to use the card from the other website as a base. So that'll be card list. So I do need this color. Hmm. So this is where I give it maybe a margin top. How much? Where did I do the margin top in here? Interesting that I don't have any margin on the card list. Hold on. It just really flat up top? No. So it's probably the template that has that padding 6. Yeah. Okay. I don't have to worry about that then. Okay, so next I'm going to need a big picture in the middle and then small pictures down below. So that tells me that I probably need, let's go for a div here. Class, I don't know, width full. Just to give it a skeleton, I'm going to use a direct reference to an image. So this is not going to be wired to the card yet. I just want to see how it looks. So let me get one image name. Should be in storage. Maybe, I don't know, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, this one. Copy relative path. Except I don't need the public folder. All right, let's see what that looks like. Sometimes I don't hit the keys that I want. There you go, better. So let's click on this one. Okay, not mad. Looks good. So I'm guessing this has a max width. So if I go smaller, yeah, the picture goes small with the content. I like that. Now let's center it because it's off to the side. So up here in the container, let's go flex, justify, center. All right. That should do it. All right. Perfect. Now, that's one thing. Now, the other thing is right below it, there should be a strip of the smaller pictures. They only allow 4 pictures max, but I'm probably going to allow more. So I do want this to scroll if necessary. So like a scrolling carousel of pictures. So this shouldn't be too hard. Let's get going with that. Maybe, let's see. I can say, let's add another div. And for the classes, let's start with a fixed width, sorry, fixed height. So maybe h, how much? 16, 20. Let's go with 16, see how that looks. Okay, now because I want to see how it looks, let's give it a background of gray, maybe 100. Let's make it width full and overflow X auto. So if the content of this div exceeds the width of the container, then the scroll bar on the bottom will show automatically. So let's copy this image here, same image, and just paste it. Let's paste a view. Okay, kinda, because, yeah, see how, well, I did the wrong overflow. They are all stacked on top of each other, so I don't like that. And also, they're not respecting the height of the container. So I'm guessing I'm gonna have to give a height to each image. That's one. And second, this has to be a flex container. So let's start with this. What happened there? Okay, let's copy. Just remove it from here. See how that looks. And let's add flex. Item center. So everything is lined up on the center. Then justify center so that all of the images are on the middle of the big one. Or aligned to the center compared to the big one. And what else? Maybe give them a gap of 16 pixels, that seems too much. Maybe 8. Gap 2. Okay, that's much better. 16 though seems too small. What are the options that I have for height? Going CSS, height. Seven. So it goes from 16 to 20. So 64 to 80. Let's try 20. How do we do this? Okay, 20 it is. All right. Yeah, that's better. I think that's visible enough without going too big. That way it stays within the screen. I do want some padding though. So first of all, this container should have some padding on the top and some padding inside. Let's see. Margin top. So with 4. And then padding Y. Padding Y. Let's go with 3 and padding X double. Okay. I should limit the height of this big image though. I think it's way too big. How big is now? Like 448 pixels. Let's see what options do we have for max height. Let's go 96. See how that looks. The thing is, should I give it probably to the image? Yeah. All right, that works. How zoomed in I am? Well, could be bigger though. So 96 is 384. Maybe we should give it a fixed value of even 400. It didn't work. Well, dead. Let's see. Let's go with 450. Is that good enough? Yeah, 450. I like that. That's cool. Okay, maybe, yeah, that gray background. Do I want that? Or maybe just make it, no, yeah, I do want it. Because look, what happens if we have a bunch of images? Yeah, that's how it looks when you have like a bunch of images. So you have a nice scrolling bar right there. Yeah, that's fine. I like that. What's next? So now let's finish with the scaffold, and then I'll just wire everything to the actual data of the car. The next thing that I want to get done is the tabs down below. How do we do this? Right, Preline. I searched this before. So this Preline website has an example of a tab component. They do use their own JavaScript library, but we can not use that and instead use Alpine JS. So yeah, let's copy everything. Copy all of this and paste it right below here. Right, let's indent all of this. All right, let's start trimming down things that I don't need. I'm not doing anything with dark right now, so let's remove that. Border bottom, and border gray, 200. Then we have flex space x1. I don't need this area thing or the row. And then we have 1, 2, 3 buttons. They do use, this is probably what they use for their classes. Like this HS tab active thing. So what I'm thinking is, that's what they use to signify that that class should be for the active tab. So I should use that for my Alpine JS logic. So I'm going to leave it there for now, and then I'm going to remove it later. Let's see. Let's see how that looks, first of all. Down here we have margin top 3. What else? I don't need this roll. Area labeled, I don't need that either. And I don't need the ID either. So just a div. So each div is one tab. Let me clean this up too. So towards that. Repeat. All right, so we have 3 divs and which are 3 tabs, and each tab is just a paragraph with text gray 500, and I don't need the dark thing. So just like this, text gray. Let's remove that dark thing as well. Save that and see how it looks. Okay, not bad, not bad. I'm seeing all 3 tabs right now because I don't have a logic to hide them, but I'll cover that in just a moment. And I don't have an active tab either. All of that is going to be Alpine JS. Let's give it a margin as well. It's way too snug. All right. Let's start working on that, on these stats. So I'm going to need Alpine JS. So let me think. X data. And let's move all of this down here for visibility. So for the data, I want to keep a variable to signify which tab is active. So let's say active, and let's give it a value of tab 1. And I'm going to modify that with each button. So each button will change the value of active to whatever tab it's in. So this is going to be pretty hard coded. I don't think I need to go too dynamic in this case. So for example, this button right here, let's start by saying, I believe is X on click. And active equals tab 1. And I'm going to need this. Paste it here. And paste it here. Now this will be tab 3 and tab 2. So at least I have a way to change the active active tab. Now, I do need to change also the way each tab looks like. So let me bring this down here. And the way that we do this is by binding a class property to a key value pair. And it's done like this. So we say class and in here we're going to use an object notation. And each of the entries here will be classes that we want to either set active or inactive. So this is a key value pair where the key is a string with the classes that I want, and then a value that is going to either enable or disable those classes. In this case, I want to work with the tab. So this will be the button for the tab 1. So if I want it to be active, I would say active equals tab -1. And if it's not active, then it's going to be pretty much the opposite. Active not equals tab -1. Now, which classes do I use for active? I'm going to hunt down everything that starts with HS active. So this one right here, background white. I'm going to move that up here. Then we have border bottom transparent. I'm going to put that next to this one. Text blue 600. Do I really want to change the? No, never mind. Don't think about that just yet. Just take it, move it from here and put it up there. This one is for dark. I'm not doing anything with dark, so let's delete that one. Dark border bottom 800. Don't need that one. Dark, don't need that one. All right, so we are done with the active classes. Now we need to look for the opposites of those classes, but first I'm going to go up here and get rid of all of the HS tab thingies. So I can do that with replace HS tab active column and remove all of those. So background white, this is an H, I had to do it. Can I do, and there you go, now it's good. So background white, border bottom transparent, and text blue 600. So I'm guessing I need to look for another background property. which is the default, inline flex, item center, gap x2, this one, BG gray 50. So I'm going to grab that one and put it in the not active tab. What else? Text center, border. I'm guessing I should leave border alone because there should always be a border, but not for the active one. And I think the way that they are doing it is with this, see, right here in the wrapping class, this one has a border bottom with grade 200. So there's always a line here. There's always a border. But when they do minus margin bottom px, that's 1 pixel. So it's moving the button 1 pixel down. So effectively the button border is on top of the wrapping border, which is just on the bottom. And when they override it with border bottom transparent, then that erases the border for that specific button only. And that'll be the effect of like the tab being in front of the others. So I'm gonna leave border here, then probably look for the text. Text center, border, there you go, text gray 500. What else? Rounded top, hover, gray 700. That should always be the case. There's a bunch of disabled things. I don't need those. So delete that. Delete that. I don't need dark. Delete that. Ooh, didn't want to do that. And active. So there. And all of this seems to be something that they are using. So I don't need that either. Where is the closing? Did I move it down? I think I did. So let's remove all of that. Go back. So basically I have a bunch of default classes. I should give the, oh, I don't need this ID either. So all of these classes give the look and feel for all of the buttons, but these two variants is what defines the active button. So I guess I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy I don't want to write that all over again. So let's do this. I do need the active tab, but everything else should go except for the type, which I left on top. Let's delete towards the opening tag. Move this down. And let's grab all of this. Paste it here. Ooh, minus that. And the values for equalities have to change. This is tab 2 and tab 2. Do I need more than... I don't think I need more than 2 tabs, honestly. So let's leave it at 2 tabs. So this tab number 3, not needed. Which means I don't need this third tab body. Okay. Looking good already. See how the first tab is, because it's active by default, then the border disappears and the background stays white, and I still have to hide and show the body, but at least I can switch tabs using Alpine JS. I like that. All right, let's work on the body. This is way simple too. So I can use Alpine JS X show. And basically, if active, it's not active equals tab 1. And let's use the same here. But let's use tab 2. Oh, and very important, never forget to use xcloak so that the items don't flicker when you reload the page manually. And if you remember, this is a class that we added to the layout. I'll show you in a second. Oh, I'm not adding it to the right place, by the way. Should be on this divs instead. Save that. And if you look at the app template, up here we have this style, which xcloak defaults to display none. Should be display hidden instead. Display hidden or display none? I guess I wanted hidden. The difference between hidden and none is that display hidden just hides the element, but it's still rendered. Whereas display none completely removes the HTML. So I guess I wanted hidden. Something wrong here? Hmm. Should be all right. Why is it not showing? Oh, because I set the X data to this div, but the body is outside of that. So I need to move this to a more higher element. Let's just put it here on the root. Clean this up. All right, there it is. So now we have tabs. Cool. I guess the last thing I want to do before I start wiring things up is the images, because I want to use the car images. And I want to click on an image and then change the active one up here. How do we do this? Let's start by just rendering all of the car images here. I don't remember if the image has the relative path to it. I guess I'll find out. It worked. Okay, so we have the images. Now, whenever I click on one of those, I need to change the source image of this one up here. Maybe we can use references in Alpine JS. Let's see. First of all, let's add a click event. Now, I do have an event object when I click on an item, don't I? Yep, event target. Let's try this. Event. Let's do an alert to see something. Alert. Event target. I can get an attribute value. So maybe I can get the source attribute value. So get attribute, right? See if I can show that. Because if I can do that, then I can set a reference to this, set a reference to this first element. So I can reference I can reference that element from the click event and just set the source attribute to the one I just clicked on. I hope that makes sense. Let's see. Click on that. There it is. That's the image. That's the image. That's the image. Interesting that I have to use storage up here, but not here. That's very interesting to me. Inspect. I guess I'm not mad about it. All right, so now let's set up a reference in this one with, I believe it's xref. What's the syntax for it? Xref, 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 right here. So I can do xref and just give it a name. And then reference that with refs in that name. So let's call it hero image or feature image. Featured. Let's call it featured. Now I can say refs featured set attribute. Is that a thing? Set attribute name value. Okay, so set attribute source, sorry. And the value is the target of the event with the attribute source. Open, close, close. All right, let's give that a try. Click. Ah, perfect. Let's give each image a cursor so that it's more evident that you can click on them. And let's set the feature to the first images, the first car image, instead of just a default value. Delete inside quotes, insert car images. This is cast into an array, so let's go with 0. And I'm gonna move this back down. It's getting too long of a line. Like so. Let's give this a cursor pointer. Okay, now the cursor is a nice pointer and it's evident that I can click on it and I get the first image by default every time I reload. Looking good. Let's click on another one. Yep, I'm happy about this. Simple, to the point, not a lot of fanfare, just necessary features. And then we can start working on these steps. What are we going to put there? First of all, we need the seller of the car, and we need a bunch of more stuff that I'm probably not gonna get to right now. So if we look at the example, yeah, they have like this, a whole lot of stuff that we don't have. Maybe we should create like a car meta table so that we can separate all of this information from the car table, from the cars table, and just put it on its own table and just relate it to each car. I think that should be way better than adding a bunch of columns to the cars table and just modeling that. So that way, if we, in the future, we need to add more information to the car, we don't have to, you know, how adding columns to a table can be taxing on the database, because if that table is not nullable by default, then you could have problems with database performance. But separating the information from the car solves that problem, that future problem. So yeah, let's do that. Let's see. And also we need to add a relationship to the car model, because right now a car does not belong to anyone. It has to have an owner, and the owner is the one that sells the car. So we need to display that information, because the idea is that people can go into the car details and find the contact information for the owner of the car, and then get in contact and basically do the, you know, buy the car from them. That's the whole point of the website. Where do we start? We should start with a test, because I went this whole time without testing anything. Yeah, we need a car details test. I'm going to borrow the smoke test from this one. And just use it here. right away. Wow. Oh, I have to create a car. Duh. Okay, let's borrow a car factory from here. Don't really need that much information. Just, I don't need the state here, which means I can bring this up here. Same for this. I don't need to specify model here. That's all not relevant for smoke test. And then I need to pass that record into the car details component. I'm going to need a car variable. The route key or just key? I think it's just key. No, route key. Okay, let's run it again. Class car not found, of course. And I probably need to also import the brand. Oh, run. Cannot assign int into property. Oh, right. So can I just pass the car then? I can. Okay, so I was wrong. Okay, cool. Can render the page. Now we should create the test cases for everything that we have right now. So images, we can see the car images. There is a similar one in this test case here. I'm gonna borrow this one. Yeah. And we don't need a state for this. We don't need state for this either. So that goes away. Just need a car or a brand. Oh, but the images we do need. I guess the factory is creating 3 images by default, so we should see all of 3. Wrap this up into an array. How did I do that? Yes, it was, I don't remember. YS? Nope, never mind. So image 1, PNG. What's the error here? Just give me a second. There's someone at the door. I have to answer. Be right back. All right, let's keep going. What's the problem here? You're not seeing image1.png. What is the image name then? Let's check the car factory real quick because I forget. Oh, it's just 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Still no? It's not showing me the second one? Why not? Am I rendering the wrong component? Is that the thing? Yep. Boy, oh boy, Nicola, what is VS Code icons? Themes look great. The theme, let me show you. Just give me a second. This is car details. Still not showing. So the theme is Capuchin for VS Code. So I have the theme, the colors, and also the Capuchin perfect icons. Those are the 2 things that I have for my VS Code look and feel. Attempt to read property images on no. Really? How come? That's interesting. Again, I need to pass the car into the component. Come on, you know this. Why are you, oh, comma. Okay. Moving along, moving along. So what other things I want to see in the page? I want to see the seller information. This is where we start adding new things. So the seller, right now we are going to go with the logged in, the information from the users. We just have name and email. We should also add phones to people, but right now we're just gonna go with email. So name and email, we should see those in the page, but let's see. I'm gonna borrow this test. It shows the seller contact information. Then, as well as a brand, we need to have another relationship for the car. And this is going to be a user. And the user is going to be the seller, but we want this in a relationship that represents the user. So instead of calling just a user relationship, we are going to use a different relationship name called seller. Owner? Yeah, that's better. Sorry. Okay, so in this case, we should see text. Let's start with car owner name, and then car owner email. We should at least be able to see, at least the name and the email of the person who posted that car, the owner of the car. Okay, save this and let's start fixing errors. Class user not found. AC, hello, love from Belgium. Thank you for joining me. Love from Costa Rica, right back at you. Thank you for joining me. Belgium, that's awesome. Okay, so call to undefined method app cars, app models car owner. We need this relationship now. Let's open the car model. No, this is a belongs to. Where's the B? There you go. Here, that's all for you, my friend. So let's return this belongs to user class. Now, the foreign key is what I'm thinking about. Should I mess with that? No, maybe not. It's gotta be user ID. No, it should be owner ID. Okay, now we need the owner ID column in the migration. Currently considering switching to Laravel Herd on Windows. I strongly recommend it, but I'm afraid it will conflict with Laravel. It will definitely not, I think. Don't quote me on that because I haven't used Laragon, to be honest. What could possibly go wrong? I mean, when you start, I don't think it will because Laravel Herd works with Laravel Valet under the hood. And that's just an Nginx built-in server. I think it doesn't. I think. I I mean, the worst thing that could happen is that you install it and it's not gonna corrupt your projects, but if you install it, then you have to decide the folder. By default, Laravel Herd looks for a folder in your home directory called Herd. So everything you put into that folder, then it's available at the project name.test. So it's everything is localized in there. I don't know if it's gonna mess up with the URL or the port that I don't know if the web server is going to conflict with any other web server listening to port 80. In the worst case, you just have to. Is there a way for you to turn off Laragon, like switch it off, stop listening for requests? That's the only thing that I think could happen. But worst case scenario, you install it. Doesn't I will create a VA host, same as Laragon. You don't need V. That's the thing for for Laravel Herd. You don't need vhosts at all. If you create a project inside the folder, inside the Herd folder, you can even add your own folders. Like if you have a code folder where you have all of your projects and you tell Laravel Herd, okay, that folder, set up sites for all of the projects in there. Cool. So you don't need vhosts for Laravel Herd. Laravel Herd, if you create a project, let's say for example you create a project on. I actually can show you the way that I have it set up. So right now I have a folder in my home directory called Herd. So if I go into Herd, all of these folders, yeah, no headaches at all. All of these folders are projects. So for example, the one that I'm working right now is Laravel used cars. So as soon as I create a project with that folder, because Laravel Herd is, let me show you the settings. So these I don't know if you can see this, but the first thing you see here is a list of folders that Laravel Herd is watching. One of those is the Herd folder. So anything that you create in there, the folder name becomes the website. So Laravel use cars becomes Laravel use cars dot test automatically. No vhost, no nothing. And it doesn't really have to be limited to just Laravel. For example, I created a WordPress folder here, and I tested a WordPress site in the Herd folder, and it became wp.test, and you can access a WordPress server on a wp.test domain. So it creates a domain for you based on the folder name, and you can put whatever you want in it basically. So yeah, I really recommend it because yeah, every time I needed a new website on my previous setup, I had to create a vhost for it and modify the /etc/hosts file. So it was kind of annoying. But with Laravel Herd, you just create your project in a folder, and the folder name becomes your domain name.test. I believe you can change the what is it? PHP node expose. I'm pretty sure there is a way to change the domain dot test to something else in Herd. I just don't remember exactly where, but I'm sure there is a way. But dot test works fine. I mean, I don't think you absolutely need anything you want as a domain. Try it out. Let me know how it goes. So I need a foreign ID for user. What? User class, and I have to change the name to owner ID. Now I need to add that to the page. Trinity Jones, that's a cool name. What the option ID VS Code? I didn't understand that question. What the option ID VS Code? Yeah, can you elaborate on that? I didn't totally get that. All right, close the migration, close the model. Let's open the view for the car list. So car-list, and we are going to, no, it's not car list, sorry. Uri. On Herd, you can choose your IDE. If you're using PHP Storm, I think that will be an option. Right now, see, if you have PHP Storm installed, you can go into the sites list and choose one. And if you click on the edit button, then it will open your editor of choice in that project folder. And if you have Tinkerwell as well, it will open Tinkerwell with the working folder to this Vault sidebar, for example. And you have the option to choose if you're using VS Code, Sublime, Emacs, I don't know who would do that, Mac, Vim, etc. So yeah, that's the option. We are going to put the seller information in the first tab. So instead of tab 1, let's change this to owner. I'm only using command line on my Mac. Good feature, yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's definitely a good feature. And the second tab is going to be for car details, maybe? So in the first tab down here, instead of this is the body of the first tab. What do we do here? Do we want a table or just two p tags? How do we want to format this? Well, they do have a very simple implementation, to be honest. Yeah. Maybe just a 2-column grid. Nah, not even that. Let's go with this. First part is going to be semi-bold, and that's going to be the car owner name. Then dot semicolon. No, that's column. And then car. No, wait. I'm doing it wrong. This is car owner name. And this is just name. Okay, we pass the name and now we're expecting the email. MySQL is a pro feature. Yes, that's my only gripe with Hurt is that if you want to use MySQL as a database, you either have to pay for the pro or just install it yourself, which is not that big of a deal, to be honest. You if you're using Windows or Mac, the installation of MySQL is very simple. I usually just use SQLite for the database when I'm developing. But if I on the rare occasion that I need MySQL, for example, for this project, no, not for this one. I use Brew to install MySQL, and on Windows I just downloaded the. I think there is a server for it. I don't remember, but the installation is quite simple, honestly. So that and the debug option. If you want to use Xdebug, the Pro version makes it quite easy. You just enable it, I think. But what I do to get around that is if I want to, not that simple, but I only work for my customers and with SQLite, but some projects need, yeah. Yeah, I get it, I get it. But yeah, you have to install it. And for debug, what I do is you can open the configuration files for whatever PHP version that you're using. And I usually, if I want to enable it, I just go into the PHP version that I want, open the ini file, and I have these xdebug lines here. So whenever I need to debug something, I just uncomment those lines, and the xdebug is immediately enabled. So yeah, that's the only, so like a one-step process. Yeah. Okay, so let's delete this part. This would be email. Come on. All right. Now I need to, since I made changes to the migration, I need to remigrate and update update the database either, because I don't have owner there. The expose side on her is working. It's working. Expose side on her is working. I haven't tried it, to be honest. I don't have any situation where I need to expose a locally developed server to an external third party. So I can't tell you if it works. I mean, they say it works, but I haven't tried it. That's the thing. Let's go to database seeder. Have a user factory and then a car factory. Sorry, brand. Oh, I'm not creating cars. I remember now. So if I run the migrations now, I'm going to lose the car. So I have to go in into the admin panel and recreate them, which is not that big of a deal. Which reminds me that I have to also modify the admin panel to set the owner ID. So that's a good thing. Let's see. Let's work with the test. Let's go to car resource test. So here in the car creation, this is supposed to be failing now. Let's see if it is. Yes, because now we have the owner ID as a non-nullable column. So here, let's add for user factory, sorry, factory owner ID. Now let's add the owner ID, price. The owner is not part of the form. Zero conflict with Laragon. Awesome. So the owner ID should not be part of the form. It should be just automatically assigned just before saving the record. So this is more of a model thing than a form. Should be the logged in user. So let's remove this for a second. Let's open the car model. We're going to need another event. Static. Is it updating? No, it should be just when it's creating. Creating. So let's say that car owner ID is equals to auth user ID. Simple as that. It is? Oh, nice. I'm glad it's a good experience for you so far. And that is Windows, you say? Yeah, Laragon. Duh. Yeah. Maybe if I run it now, save and run it, should be working. Yes, it is. So I don't need to modify anything on the admin panel, honestly. Let's, what else is broken here? Guess I should run the file, see. No test founds, really? Oh, this is a model. Run the file, please. Thank you. Then passing. Okay, good. That was an easy fix. What else? What else? What else? What else? Okay, so I guess I can now just remigrate and create all of the cars. PHP artisan. Migrate fresh and seed. Something's bad. Database seeder user not found. That wasn't bad. That wasn't like that before. Okay, never mind. Database either. Guess I didn't actually run it. I never actually run it after modifying this. So I have to import the model class. Is the brand here? It's not. Okay. Let's try that again. Sequence. Gosh, I never actually tested this, apparently. Any other class I forgot to import? No? Good. And now if I go back to my site, yep, everything is broken here. I don't have any cars. Should work on, why is it not? Hi Daniel, how you doing? Thank you for joining me. Thinking I should have like a no cars. Nah, later. Go to the admin panel. Let's create a new car. Let's bring the images though. On the Civic 2019. Well, I mean, yeah, if you can afford it and have the money, I'm sure it definitely has some awesome features. This was a Nissan Qashqai. Nissan Qashqai. Don't remember the year, 2016. I don't know. Should be enough. There's one more. Toyota Yaris 2018. €300? Wow. I mean, it's not, it's an expense that you think about before making, at least in my opinion. I mean, I'm actually building a cars rent app. Ooh, nice. Maybe this some of this will help you. Let's see if let's click on this one. All right. Why is the email not showing? Why? I put it on the wrong tab. Let me fix that real quick. Car details. Ooh, no, I want it down. That should be another p tag then. That's better. I don't like, should have more padding inside though. Padding X. What, like 4 maybe? That's better. Hi, Dejid. Good morning. How are you? You're building the car rents app with Filament. Well, is the front facing side made with Filament as well? I don't know if you remember that I started using Filament tables on this project and it kind of got out of control and I felt like it was getting in the way. So I switched to an entirely Livewire and Alpine JS front end. Filament for the admin panel still, but I'm curious if you're going full Filament on the front side. Let's see, what else? Why don't we end up with a little bit of car meta information so we can put something on the car details. Let's see, what can we do? Based on the example, let's start with engine, number of passengers, fuel, that's important. Let's start with those. Maybe those 3, 4. Okay. First part should be similar to this. We create a car. Yeah, TDD for the win. It's so for the longest time I didn't use test for anything, and at work is something that I'm trying to incorporate, but it's very difficult because we have a large code base that is very legacy PHP, like without frameworks or anything. So it's kind of hard to incorporate test-driven development into something that has been already established. But for my personal projects, though, it is so easy for me to kind of just get starting. Right now, for example, I don't have to start thinking about how the page is going to look, where I'm going to put it. I just go create a test for it, kind of wing it on the test. And once the test is done, it's easy to go back to the visual aspect of it and just tweak it. It's kind of easier for me to start what I want to do compared to when I don't have a test. I get paralyzed with the amount of stuff that I want to start doing that I don't even start. So it has been a very productive way for me to work. Yeah, and that's what I, unless there is a very specific case for it, like a very complicated table or a very complicated form that you don't want to do yourself. But if if it starts getting in the way of what you want to do, yeah, definitely move away from Filament. Like I said before, it's knowing when to use Filament is almost as important as knowing when not to use it. So we have a brand, we have a user. Now we need meta. So let's say has. Let's call it car meta. I don't know if I want to go the route of big table with specific columns or key value pairs. I should go with specific columns because it's kind of hard. It's hard coded. The amount of information that we need for the car is not going to change too much. When you control Filament, you rock well too. I'm building plugins for Filament. Nice. Which plugins are you building? Have you built one already or you're just building one right now? I think I've seen, hold on. Now I'm curious. This one? Now I'm on a timeline. Look at that. JSON media files. So anything you want to put into a JSON column, you can. That's interesting. Looks pretty cool. I'm gonna give it a try sometime. And start. So yeah, I was saying that maybe I'm gonna go with fixed columns. We could go the route of key value pairs for the meta, but that adds too much complexity, and we're on a crunch right now. We just have two more weeks. Yeah, you're right. We need to see how the plugin looks like in order to get a feel for it. So that's a good marketing strategy for your plugins. Show, don't tell. So right now, let's set the state for this one. Hold on. Is it called, what's it called? Transmission or gear shift? I don't know how to call that. All right, AC. See you. Thank you for joining me. Good night. It's called transmission type. Type of transmission. Yeah, transmission type for the column name, and then I can set the label to something different. Is that the right spelling for mileage? Yep. I think let's go with 4. I mean, we can always expand later, but I just want to see 4 for now. Thank you. Now I can grab this, yank it, paste it here. Okay, as long as I can see that same text, that's enough for me for now. I have not written any tests at work yet. Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? Mostly because I don't know if you're in your case, but when I got to my, even though I've had 10 years right now to write tests, it's kind of hard for when there's so much legacy code, so much things that, yeah, it gets really complicated really quick. I am working on a new project that I do want to. It's easier when you get to work on something new because you can start from scratch and work with testing right away. But when there's so much work already done, trying to go back and test everything is just almost impossible. That and the fact that you have things to do, right? You have deadlines, you have new projects, you have day to day activities, so not enough time. Car meta not found. Of course, we need a new model. Let's do PHP artisan make model car meta with a migration and factory. Oh, I have to import it. Attempt to read property ID on null. Where are you reading ID? Oh, you have to be logged in. It's a good point. Wait, what? Hold on. Oh, okay. So the fact, yeah, okay, yeah. This is triggering on the factory creation of the car, but I don't have a logged in user in this test cases, so I need to go ahead and do that. Let's see. I need a before each. Let's say acting as user factory create. Okay, now we need a car meta relationship. Yeah. Although we should, yeah. Let's call that a different way. Here. Okay, so the relationship now is called meta, and we need to create it. Has many, right? No, hold on. Has one. Because if we create a meta, I don't want to do it belongs to, it doesn't make sense. So yeah, has one. No need to change that. think that should be enough. Let's run that previous test, and now it's asking me for the column named engine in the car metas table. So let's open the migration, create car metas, and start adding things here. All of this is going to be nullable, honestly. Or should it be nullable? Shouldn't be. It's not. Let's not make it nullable. So I added, let me check. Engine, fuel type, transmission, and mileage. Car ID, of course. This has to belong to someone. For an ID 4, car model. Okay, now I have to put that in the tab. But for this, I'm going to go with a good old table. And I think Preline should have an example of a nice looking table. Don't they? Layout, container content. I would have thought. Here it is, tables. Let's go with maybe a striped one without title, without header. Stripe borders. Headless. Let's go with this one for now. Copy everything. Head over to card details. Look for the tab here. Guess we can remove that P tag. We don't need it. Oh, wait. Before I do that, Okay, now I can remove that p tag here. Let's see how it looks and then start modifying it. I hate that, I guess. Problem is that if I don't have a footer, every time I hide it, then the content goes shorter and then I have to re-scroll back down. But that's something I can live with for now. All right, let's start changing this. I only need 2 columns. Okay, so starting from here, I just need to iterate over for each bar. Don't even have to be for each. Oh, this is a problem then. No, a car only has one meta value. So it's not an iteration. It's just that every row matches one column. Okay, so not this. Oh, something my eye. Okay. Okay. This will be the engine. This, in fact, let me put it down here so I can see it better. And then this is the value for that. Maybe if it has meta, yeah, that's a good idea. So that means that I don't need these two, so I can delete those. And let's do this. Let's just copy this one. So it was engine, my memory, fuel type. mileage. Come on. Oh, yeah, of course. Need to migrate. I should add, no. This means I need to add a relation manager to the admin panel. Right now, we're not going to, am I going to see it? One sec, I have an idea. So first, let's remigrate. So I lost all the cars again. Let's create just one, and then I'll do the meta myself. And then we'll finish with that. Go back here. So what's the idea of that? Let me open Tinkerwell real quick. ID 1. See if I can take the factory. So why are you weird? Let's create one. Set the state. We need to specify the car this belongs to, so for maybe that. See if that works. Okay, I think that worked. So technically I could do car find one meta, right? No, jeez. How come that didn't work? Hmm. No, engine type. I'm gonna do it directly in the database just to get out of the way. Get this out of the way. Fuel type gasoline. Transmission type automatic. Mileage 15,000, 1,500 kilometers. Car ID would be one, the only one. Created at default. So send that. How do we send this? Here. Okay, now if I do this, there it is. Let's go back to the page, back to the list. There's the car, click on it, car details. There you go. And I think that's where we stop today. I'm happy with this page. I do have to add some navigation items so that we can go back and forth between the car details and the car list. And also we are in need of a relation manager so that we can create or edit the car meta information or the car details in the admin panel. And we're going to do that next week. And probably we're going to start working on sprucing up the front facing side a little bit so that we can have like a navigation at the top, etc., etc. Some details. So we have 2 more weeks. This is week 8, I think. Is it? Yeah, this is week 8. And so we have week 9 and 10 because the deadline for this is 10 weeks. But I think we're making good time. We're almost done, and it's looking rather good. Also, I need to work on the search part on the front facing side, maybe tweak it up a bit. Nothing too complicated there. But yeah, I think we are making good time. Thank you so much for everyone who joined me today. Daniel, Dajit, AC, what else? Who else? Ahmed, And there was one more. Programando con Luis. Hi, sorry I didn't say hi before. Programando con Luis. And Nicola as well. Thank you everyone for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next stream or the next video. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.